Coming to you. You're killing me. This thing, eh? Oh. We done this thing.
Is it? Wait,
Joseph, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. All right, folks. Well, it's a little past 7. We'll try to get you out here a little earlier tonight. Welcome everybody to the November Board of Supervisors meeting. We do have a quorum. Mr. Easter is attending virtually. If we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll stand with the prayer while we're up. Mr. Morris.
Bow your heads. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for your constant downpour of blessings over us. Open our eyes so we can see just how blessed we really are, even during troubling times. Thank you for this opportunity for us to come together as part of Team Amelia, not only for you, but for our community as well. Lord, as we are rounding the corner to celebrate the birth of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray that we will prepare by giving thanks to you first, not only on Thanksgiving, but every day. Lord, as we begin our meeting tonight, I invite you to our table for guidance and direction as we tend to business tonight, and that we will make decisions according to your will and for what's best for the community. Lord, I also want to ask you for your watch care over all the hunters and those traveling over the next couple months. Please keep them safe and out of harm's way. Father, I also ask for your blessings over all the community activities that are coming up, that they will be successful and make good, long-lasting memories. And Father, I ask for special prayer requests over healing of one of our own, the postal worker that got attacked by the dog this week. I just pray for a speedy and full recovery. And I also list up any other prayer requests in this room, and for those who are listening, I'm asking for your answer, not our own. You know those requests, and you know what's best, the best answer is, even though we may not always agree. In closing, Lord, thank you for all who came out tonight to join us, and I just pray that we all make it home safely. That's just in holy precious name.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Morris. All right, folks. All right, gentlemen, you have in front of you the consent agenda. Any additions y'all want to make to that? Can we run through the appointments real quick, Mr. Morris?
yes, please.
All right, on the consent agenda, there is the approval of the minutes. There is a reappointment to the Social Services Board of Rose. I'm not even gonna try her last name, Rose. Appreciate you doing that. Reappointments and one appointment to the Planning Commission. Parker Harding from District 3, Richard Cumley from District 3. Richard will be serving a 2-year term to get back in line with everybody's terms. Larkin Warrior from District 2, Roy Easter from District 4. Board of Zoning Appeals and Appointments, be Russell Easter and David Poor. And the Building Code Appeals will be Doug Dawson from District 1.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. Any more discussion? Motion to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, that's approved. All right, how about the regular agenda? Any amendments to the regular agenda?
Go ahead.
I have a few. The Library and Historical Society, instead of y'all speaking in public comment time, we're gonna move you under staff reports. So you'll have the floor then. Also need to add a solid waste discussion with the and we have the chairman here tonight of that board. And we need to discuss direction on, to give staff on the animal shelter. That information was in an email. And we need to discuss a zoning sign amendment. Really, that's just a brief discussion, and community development will tell us what's going on, and then we'll make a decision on that. Anybody else have anything?
To approve as amended.
Motion on the floor to approve as amended with those 4 amendments. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, it brings us to the public comment time. Anybody wishing to speak about anything that's really not on the agenda tonight? I think we have a couple of public hearings down the road. Please come up, state your name and address. Try to keep it to 3 minutes or so. Okay, I'll close public comment time. All right. Brings us to our VDOT report.
Good evening, sirs. My administration, chairman, members of the board. My name is Justin Pachin. I'm the acting residency administrator in for Rebecca Worley, who's on maternity leave. Everything's good and baby's fine. Everything's wonderful. Here to give the report tonight. Maintenance items for November of 2025. Maintenance staff's continuing shoulder brush removal along Genito Road and connecting roads along the route. They started on Selma Route 657 and will eventually make their way eastward along the corridor. Repaired shoulder stone along Bevel's Bridge Road, Route 602. That's your routine maintenance items, low shoulder areas, filling in holes as we come across them. Contractor secondary mowing has been completed. That's substantial completion of mowing of right-of-way in Amelia County for this year. We'll start that back up on a cycle rotation in the spring. We'll still address site distance issues, right arm mowing to the extent of right-of-way for brush removal, as previously mentioned. Traffic studies and special requests. Traffic operations is studying the 153 and 38 intersection findings within 30 days. That's been revised. That report has been drafted and is submitted to the board for their review. The findings and recommendations will be honored by the residency, and we will be installing those hopefully before Christmas.
Good.
Construction items. Surface treatment and pavement, all work has been completed on those schedules. It's done for this year. Amelia County School sidewalk work is ahead of schedule. All work is expected to be complete no later than the end of the year. So by Christmas time, that should be wrapped up. I have no other items unless you all have any questions or comments.
I got 2 things. I had a business owner on Route 616, Genito Road, and wanted to know, does VDOT know how many businesses is located on 616? And it's probably more than y'all realize of the amount of traffic and the amount of truck traffic on one of the most narrow roads in this county. And people live on it. That being said, I think I'm just talking to the wall because I know they're not going to do nothing, because I think we got a quote on a price to do something on that road and it's astronomical, but it's not going to ever get any cheaper.
Yes, sir.
If you follow what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
2, I need a hidden driveway sign put up for safety purposes about halfway between Dykeland and the railroad tracks on the northbound side. There's a homeowner that's got a new house on the right, and you can't see that driveway when they're running 70 mile an hour down through that, it's in a curve.
Yes, sir. We'll review that location. I'll get back with you.
Yeah, because he's gonna put a little one up himself right there, but you can't hardly see it. I've seen some big diamond shaped ones, hidden driveways in other parts of the county and all, and I said, well, that, for safety concern, something right there, because I hate to see somebody get hurt.
Yes, sir. We'll take a look.
I'll just thank you for the study. I'm gonna hit that in just a second. And for the trees down at the Namazine Church. Can I, make a quick response about their traffic study so the public will know?
Sure.
They've approved a 48 by 48 stop ahead sign with yellow 3M reflective strips on the post. And they're going to put white rumble strips with 5-foot spacing, 100 foot downstream of the stop ahead warning sign. So I think that'll be a big improvement at that intersection, and I appreciate it.
What intersection? I didn't hear that. 38.
38 and 153.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I left it out.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, sir.
It's been long coming.
Good. Anything else? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Come on up, Mr. Trump. How you doing tonight?
Doing just fine. How are y'all?
Good.
So good evening. Dr. Harper cannot be with us this evening. Is in attendance at the annual Virginia School Board Association Conference in Williamsburg today and tomorrow, along with members of the school board, our school board clerk, and our deputy clerk. She asked that I share this information as well as our excitement for our preparations for the annual Christmas parade. Our bus shop staff are hard at work getting ready to decorate their bus in hopes of another first place finish to add to their collection. They're a little proud of their hard work down there. Enrollment in ADM at the end of the month of October. K-12 enrollment, end of October was 1495. Pre-K-12 enrollment was 1561, and ADM as of the end of October was 1490.82. Now I have the October finance reports to share with y'all as well. To be meeting our goals, expenditures should be at about 26.58%, and we are close to that number at 28.48%. As beginning year expenses continue to linger slightly. Last month, we were a little ahead by 2.76%. This month has dropped 1.9%, so that's normalizing as we go through the year. In the textbook fund, expenditures are at 29.68% so far in FY26. For funds 4 and 5 for all in construction, have expenditures of appropriated funds of 24.5% and 0% respectively. And in the cafeteria fund, expenditures are at 14.23% for FY26. We do have one new appropriation and one appropriation to revisit as saw on the agenda. If you don't have any questions about finance reports, I can move on to those.
Any questions, folks? Go right ahead.
Okay. So following the discussion and denial of the appropriation request for the USAC grant last month, I wanted to give an update on our projected reimbursement appropriation as requested. At the time of last month's presentation, it was still unknown to us if we would be able to access remaining funds in the grant. So as some grants have provisions for additional rounds of funding or grant amendments to ensure that all funds awarded are expended. Since that night, I've consulted with John Hughes, who's our primary contact for this grant, and we have been informed that there's no further opportunity for us to pursue unaccessed funding within our allocation. Basically, they had awarded us up to that 72,000 number, 72,160, I believe. But because of how our application was built and how items can be funded in this appropriation, we won't be able to reach the remainder of it. With that in mind, we can expect our reimbursement to equal 90% of expended approved funds in this grant via total expenditures of $57,751.42, making the expected 90% reimbursement being $51,976.28. The timing of the reimbursement is dependent on pending federal action to release these grant funds, but we anticipate that in the coming weeks. So that's the update on the USAC grant. I'm going to move on to the DCJS grant.
Sure.
Okay. For your approval this evening is a request to appropriate $31,210 to security expenditures within operations maintenance and to local revenues. In a letter dated October 23rd, 2025, Amelia County was notified of a DCJS grant award in support of new school safety personnel. This award is the result of combined efforts of school and county staff, and we are excited to bring aboard this new position. As the new position will be managed and paid by ACPS, we are requesting that the projected FY26 revenue from this grant be appropriated to ACPS directly. The requested funds in this request equal 50% of the total available state special funds awarded, as this grant funds are awarded on a calendar year basis, beginning in January 2026. Remaining grant funds, those that would fund the position from July until next December, will be addressed at a later date, either through the budget process or for another budget appropriation request early in FY27. And this appropriation is being requested now so that ACPS can initiate processes for hiring this new position with the hope of having a candidate in place as early as possible this January. A local match in alignment with our local composite index is required for this grant, but it will be met with previously appropriated funds for school personnel. No additional funds are being requested from the county to meet this required match. That's all I have on that one as well.
Okay. Any questions, gentlemen? What's the board's pleasure?
I'm good with both of them.
Make a motion.
You do them together or separate?
Yeah, I can do them together. Just make sure you read the right number so we make sure we have it said. Can you repeat the two numbers, Mr. Trump?
The USAC grant, well, I guess there's a difference between the appropriation request and the reimbursement amount. So which are you asking for the USAC grant? The reimbursement amount? I guess that was my impression, but.
Yeah.
Okay. So the USAC grant reimbursement amount is $51,976.28. The DCJS school security personnel grant is $31,210.
Okay. There's your numbers, Mr. Robinson.
I'll make a motion that we approve the DCJS for a sum of $31,210. And then the USAC grant, which is $51,976.28. Correct?
Okay.
For a grand total of $83,186.28.
Of no local fund. Yes.
Correct. This is all new revenue.
All right, any more discussion? Motion on the floor to make this appropriation? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, brings us to some staff reports. Library and Historical Society.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Michael F. Whitaker, the president of the Amelia County Historical Society. Be speaking in two hats tonight, also as the chairman of the American Revolution 250 Committee for Amelia. We'll address the joint Amelia Historical Society Library issues first. That way I won't have to delay Mr. McFarland here, and he can introduce himself. I'll hand you what I intended to say during public comments.
I'm Keith McFarlane, the library director for the James L. Hamner Library.
Yeah, I can start. All right. First is a staff report from the Historical Society. Thanks to Mr. Robinson and Mr. Morrison activating the VDOT to get the trees cut down over at Namazine Church. We have submitted a right of entry form to that, and hopefully those trees will come down post haze. Also, the Society Board of Directors met today concerning county interest in helping to preserve the Namazine Church as a historical asset for all the people of the Amelia County. The society definitely will welcome county assistance and advisement while maintaining our current autonomy and proprietary use of the site, if at all possible. And a letter to the Board of Supervisors to that effect will be forthcoming, hopefully before the end of the week. And the main issue, I think, between the society and the Hamner Library, I'll make a statement and we can open it to questions. We similarly welcome continued county advisement and oversight of the Jackson Building. It's a county facility. It is in need of some capital improvements. We are now in the initial stages of drafting a memorandum of understanding with the James L. Hamner Public Library for an alignment that will efficaciously approve the use of the structure, the society's mission, and joint Hamner Society processes, procedures, and programs for educational and charitable benefit of the citizens of Amelia County. The society again will strive to preserve its autonomy and assets and focus, but in any final memorandum of understanding has to go through our board of directors for approval, which means touching bases with the membership as well. But we more than welcome the county because at the inception of the Amelia County Historical Committee, we basically were an adjunct official county done mainly through the courts, but over the years morphing through the Board of Supervisors. And essentially it's your building. We have our stuff in it and we can basically really improve what we have to offer by aligning with the Hamner Library and getting more hands-on advisement if you desire from county officials.
Does anybody have any questions about what Michael said? So, basically.
I got one.
Okay,
We're not losing the historical society. We all just coming together.
Yeah.
We're still gonna be the Amelia Historical Society, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization, so, and we intend to keep it that way, so as much as possible. There's a lot of sweat, labor, and investment over since 1958 and our holdings there. But the board realizes we could do things more professionally and more efficiently, and while doing so, we probably invite a whole new wave of people that are coming into the county as well as the old timers and make more of what we've been doing lately.
Okay.
yeah, the library's part in it as well. We've streamlined some of the processes, cataloging their collection and actually having it in a paid for catalog that we have it's biblionics. So we help them keep track of their collection. That's one aspect of it, but programming, and that'd be the next aspect, bringing programming to the community and trying to get younger people involved in cultural heritage of the community and just, put a spotlight on it pretty much. And we would collaborate back and forth with the programming. And anybody have any questions for me?
Well, at this point, you think you could bring on some of that without the additional staff, correct?
Yeah, yeah. About the additional staff, as far as.
For now, to help bring on that, you're able to hopefully.
Yeah, I'd have a staff member that would be there a couple days a week, and then one day a week I would definitely be there. So we'd have the same amount of staff. I believe we can actually do it and make it work. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you wanted to do something with ancestry too, I think?
Right, yeah, the genealogist, we would have a genealogist, certified staff member, become a certified staff member, so that we would do genealogy for the community. People that live here can come and get family tree information, and the genealogist would be able to provide that service. And that would be 2 days a week at the Historical Society.
Well, you go back there and ask my wife, 'cause when she married me and moved to Amelia, she said it's not but 5 bloodlines in Amelia County, because you're kin to everybody.
Gotcha.
And the Joneses go back to the very beginning.
Yeah, and Jones family's been here for a while.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, well, and if I may, on the, just a few updates on the AMRAP 250 committee. We have continued since late July, supplied a Amelia Bulletin Monitor with weekly historical updates, i.e. this week, 250 years ago. Hope to keep that up at least through the end of 2026. Battle of Trenton and the first turning point in the war. We also await word from VA 250 as to whether the mobile museum application has been approved. That was supposed to have happened by the 15th of November for Amelia Day weekend, Friday and Saturday. Maybe it's ominous that I haven't heard anything, but we also put in backup dates for mid-October, mid-November, 2026, in case that fell through. As far as the fireworks situation, again, I've emailed, I think, all of you about that, but the Louis Irvine of Powhatan is assessing what he may provide for a requested show on the evening of Amelia Day, but that requires coordination with Mr. Easter and other folks to make sure that happens. We recommended that it be at the same site and of the same scale, with maybe a more of a flourish at the end for the Republic on the night of the 9th of May behind the Hindle Building. And I did get some feedback from the Virginia National Guard about providing a band. They basically sent me the application, so I need to know if planning is going to be realistic to go through to have a fireworks display that day, which means probably I need to get smart on cost. And if the county's going to pick up the whole thing, or maybe we need to do fundraising as part of it. I hate to suggest that, but those things are in the works, but time is of the essence. If I can give them a creditable answer as to how we would like them to proceed. That's the fireworks person and the 29th Infantry Band, or one of their ensembles. And we're also considering other proposals that I will submit to the county administrator's office. Such thing as the raising of a citizen or organizationally adorned with stuff like pennants, emblems, flags, other things. Liberty Pole, for example, that's the only example in the courthouse square on the 4th of July, just like they did in Boston when they first heard about the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Now, that's one thing. If you all desire any civic ceremonies where local dignitaries or state people come in and talk, there will be plenty of time for that in 2026, but we need to be thinking about it now. I'm also talking about a national author coming in for a book signing. That would probably be at the Hamner Library. I haven't really discussed too much about that. Would be in April the 19th, I think. And other things such as getting the schools more involved and that kind of thing. And finally, our committee has been somewhat moribund. Way too much stuff is going through a single person, me. That's maybe mismanagement on my part, but we need to get those people back together and maybe increase the number of people on it, bring as many organizations involved at this late date, in my opinion, as possible. So that's where we stand with AMRAD 250. So
Okay.
and I'm getting worn out, but we'll keep going.
I'd also like to mention an upcoming event, November 25th, we're having Camp Thankful between 1 and 3, and kids will be able to make crafts on the November 25th. So if anybody wants to attend, they can. We're also doing our story time every Friday, 10 a.m. And we welcome anybody to come. Eric was there, so we welcome everybody to come and read a book if they want to volunteer to.
They will do it.
I have a hard time reading this agenda.
And we're planning for spring events coming up, spring programming, so we're in the thing that pays for that.
Okay. Joseph, do you have any questions about the 250 and the Amelia Day cooperation?
No, I'm working with Mr. Whitaker offline. I appreciate it very much, all he's doing. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I tend to communicate primarily by email, so be sure you all read that, but I can do it otherwise if necessary. So
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
thank you for your
Yeah,
time for everything.
All right, it brings us to presentation from River Street. Do we have a person from the Planning Commission, Planning District? Mr. Folsom?
Yes, sir. It's Mr. Well,
Okay. Oh, he's virtual.
yeah.
Okay.
First name Michael. He's on virtually.
Hey, good evening.
How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm Greg Coltrane, Vice President of Business Development with River Street, and I have Rob Taylor here with us this evening as well. I wanted to go through and give you an update on the process and the project here in Amelia County, share some updates with you. Specifically, tasks completed in November. We submitted permits for Amelia cabinets 2 and 4. We secured additional, thank you, Rob.
Can you see that?
See it, okay. We secured additional surety bonds to continue permitting processes. We submitted permits for lower Amelia CO and cabinets 1 and 2. And I'll go ahead now and let you know that we used to refer to that lower Amelia cabinet as a man-burr cabinet. But when we acquired TDS, they already had a man-burr cabinet. So when you hear us refer to the lower Amelia County CO cabinet, that is in the furthest east end of the county. We submitted permits for that and cabinets 1, 3, 4, 6, and 8. We received permit approval for the man-burr cabinets 1 and 4. Tasks that are up next in December is to complete quality review. Man-burr cabinets 2, 5, and 7 received permits for the Amelia cabinets 2 and 4. Permits for lower Amelia CO cabinets 1 and 2, man-burr cabinet man-burr CO and cabinets 3, 4, 6, and 8, and then begin construction drawings on the man-burr cabinet 4. It's not moving along. What did you press? Can you advance it manually over there just to the next slide? There you go. All right, so engineering overview. The high-level design, or what we refer to as the HLD, is the first phase of a fiber network engineering process. It's the blueprint of the community showing which areas will be served and how they'll be connected to the network. The high-level design was completed, so covered areas have been defined in the full county. Remote site locations have been identified where we put every cabinet. Backbone and distribution routes are mapped. Major crossings like VDOT, railroads, and bridges have all been documented. Fiber mileage estimates are completed for budgeting. Then there's the low-level design, or the LLD. And the low-level design is the final in-depth engineering phase. And it's the construction plan that defines every measurement, every component, and every connection needed to continue fiber services to the homes and the businesses in the county. So that low-level design, or LLD, part of it is completed and part of it's in progress. We have a tool that's magical that's brought to us by one of our engineering firms. It's called LiDAR. You may have heard of this technology before, but it does scans that are collected much like the Google car that drives down the road and snaps pictures for mapping and stuff for Street View. It does a 3D imaging of the entire route that we'll be constructing. So we capture in advance all the poles, any existing pedestals, any culverts, highway signs, mailboxes, things of that nature. It's all captured in a 3D image so that when we go to do the construction, we have before and afters of the construction site. So we're physically riding the roads now and capturing all the LiDAR components. Field walkouts are completed for the initial build areas. The exact fiber route has been finalized in multiple zones. Cabinets, pedestals, and handhold locations have all been staked and marked on the mapping. So splicing plans drafted for the first construction areas have been complete. Material lists have been completed for all of the upcoming build segments. In addition, the TDS infrastructure we acquired, while design work was underway, you'll recall River Street acquired key TDS facilities that served Amelia prior. And it took 5 months longer for us to close on the acquisition than we had originally anticipated. After closing of the property with TDS, inventory of all the purchase network was required. So we've been through and inventoried everything. It also included existing transport fiber, reducing the amount of new transport construction that would be required for the new build design. It's incorporating the acquired assets required to re-engineer work of the original design, allowing the project to leverage existing transport paths and improve the overall system reliability. The purchase also secured 4 of the 5 remote sites that we were going to have to build. And these locations allowing low-level design work to begin sooner. So you would typically have to build the sites first and then start on the low-level design. We already acquired those sites, so the low-level design work is already underway. And it typically will take us anywhere from 5 to 9 months to establish a new site from start to finish. So that really helped a lot. Now, talking about those cabinets and build outs, again, the strategic acquisition of TDS facilities, just hang on to that for me and keep.
There you go.
Go back one. There you go. Including the 4 of the 5 remote locations in the purchase significantly reduced the time required for additional site acquisitions. Pre-existing easements and available power minimize upfront site work and help streamline remote site readiness. And with remote sites already established, network equipment can be staged and installed sooner, supporting a smoother transition into our construction and activation for customers. The Amelia Courthouse remote was already there. Easement was secured. It's a 60 by 60 concrete building in place. 15-foot utility easement for power and fiber communications was obtained. The Manborough remote that they already had in place was a 50 by 50 easement secured with a 12 by 20 precast building, and then a 15-foot utility easement for power and fiber communications obtained. The Pine Grove remote, there was a 50 by 50 easement secured, 13 by 17-foot precast building in place, 15-foot utility easement for power and fiber communications obtained. And then the Deatonville remote, which also gave us a 50 by 50 easement, 13 by 17 precast building in place, and a 15-foot utility easement. So that leaves us with the 5th location to be constructed, and it's underway, and that's the Lower Amelia remote. It's a 50 by 50 easement secured as well. Precast cabinet ordered and received, and the private entrance easement for the site access via VDOT permit has been approved. And so the next task is to install the ground field and the pad. And so that will be underway. You got me on the next slide. Okay. So permitting. We have 8 cabinets submitted to VDOT pending approval. That's the Manborough CO, the Manborough cabinets 3, 6, and 8, Amelia cabinets 2 and 4, the Lower Amelia CO, and the Lower Amelia cabinet 1. There's 14 cabinets that have been submitted to River Street on behalf of our engineering firm for quality review, and that's the Manborough cabinets 2, 5, and 7, Amelia 1, 3, 5, and 11, and the Lower Amelia cabinet 2. And then there are 15 cabinets that are in design production, which is the Lewiston CO, the Pine Grove CO, the Deatonville CO, and the Lewiston cabinet 1. So again, key factors affecting permitting timelines. VDOT requires permitting to be submitted in 5-mile sections rather than for the entire service area, resulting in more applications and a longer review process. Additional permit submissions were delayed due to bond requirements, but this issue we've resolved. With the new bond in place and design work finalized, VDOT will resume reviewing previous submissions and new applications will follow. Once permit drawings are approved, engineers can proceed with construction drawings and splicing schematics, which are needed before field construction can begin. We are working through a discrepancy with Amelia VDOT. What we've basically noticed, Amelia County's VDOT residency requires a higher construction bond than many others of the counties that we're working in Virginia. By the example that you can see here, the bond requirement in Amelia County for a 5-mile span, equivalent to a 5-mile span in Nottoway County, is 5 times higher. And so we're trying to work through that to figure out why these 2 comparable locations are 5 times higher. And I think, Eric, we talked with you some about that. So these counties are served by different VDOT residencies, which use different methods to calculate required bond amounts. And because of the higher obligation amounts, the available bond capacity is used up much quicker, limiting the number of permits that can be active at any one time. And River Street has taken out a second larger bond to help cover these higher than expected costs. The current service availability, there's 378 locations that now have access to fiber. There's 24.4 or 0.04 miles of fiber active and in the ground. In 2026, the build schedule in January, construction to begin in the Manbur cabinets 1 and 4 serving areas. Transport availability, much of the Manbur serving area is already supported by active transport fiber, helping accelerate readiness for construction. And 2026 plan is to pass 3,200 locations. In 2027 plan, we would pass 1,400 additional locations, completing the build. The countywide goal total, there's 5,027 locations now. That number's a little higher. As we've been doing the schematics based on what was funded versus now what is actively serviceable locations, the number has climbed. And there'll be 628 miles of total fiber installed upon completion. The Amelia County network aggregation, the Amelia County serves as the aggregation point where all of our traffic will be routed in this region. And the core routing equipment has been expanded to handle expected load. RFPs are in place for optical and transport equipment, and POs have been issued for equipment to be delivered. So we've made some huge strides in the last 6 months. All of this is a culmination of that work. If you look at this map, we've illustrated here the polygons. The different shaped polygons are actually 39 different serving cabinet service areas. So everything's not fed all completely in tandem from one place. It's built out from that main serving office to each of these 39 serving cabinets to serve the individual homes and businesses in those quadrants. The green areas illustrate where fiber is available today, and all of the other areas are what is scheduled for rollout here in the very near future. On the next slide, this shows you the pinpoint locations for the funded locations in the county. Well, actually, this is the total locations in the county, 5,027. And there are currently 378 locations that have access to fiber. And then you can see the 4,649 locations scheduled for fiber build. Are there any additional questions that we can answer?
How long do you think it's gonna take y'all to finish
If we stick
the whole
to,
county?
if we stick to our timeline, it'll take into 2027. But the bulk of the
27?
locations will be built next year.
Okay, do you, think that y'all will be better than TDS was?
Well, we hope so. The network
Well,
itself.
you got a long ways to go from what I understand.
The network and the resiliency that will be there with the fiber network is highly superior to the existing copper network. So yes, I feel adamant that the service quality for the citizens will be 100 times better.
Well, most of my complaints that I get is y'all. And I say, you need to call them, that's a private company.
Right.
As a supervisor, I can't do nothing.
Yes, sir.
But there's a lot of people that's not happy in this county.
Well, when you inherit or acquire a new house, that's not a brand new house that's just been built, and you've got a blueprint to turn it into a brand new house, it'll be a new piece of art when it gets done. And
Well, I mean, a lot of the complaints is when they call your office and they get number one runaround there is, and they don't get their questions answered. And getting an increase on some charges on some things that they can't figure why they're getting them.
Yeah.
I'm just relaying,
Sure.
what I've heard.
Sure.
Guys, we're gonna get you moved up on the screen.
I agree with Dexter. I mean, the representative from River Street just said service will be better. I think you mean the product will be better. I'll have to take your word for it. I think fiber will certainly be better than copper, but the service people are experiencing, I don't think is better. By the way, the service from TDS was terrible. So that always got complaints, but people are not experiencing better service from River Street. And I think that's very unfortunate when you're a smaller, more local, not local to Amelia, but more local company. I use your product and my personal experience has not been any better either. Long hold times, I agree with everything Dexter said. You have less availability to do things online. Everything wants you to mail something back instead of filling it out online. It takes twice as long to do. all the bill payment options are worse, it's incredibly cumbersome. I do not think we will, I don't see any reason to believe we will see service be better.
Well, Mr. Easter, I'd love
I
to
don't
reach
think, and I
out.
don't think your 2026 and 2027 meets your prior obligations to what you told us. I think they are 18 to 24 months past what you kept promising, and there's no reason for us to believe the current.
I mean, y'all are told us previously that we're gonna be fed from Dinwiddie and Manborough. Well, Dinwiddie's been
Yep.
in the ground for at least 4 months. And they've not hooked none of that up. That's just sitting there. I mean, I've been on the board 4 years and I've not seen empty promises is what I've seen. I almost feel like it's gonna be outdated before it ever gets in the ground and anybody can use it. So
I think the only River Street customers, we have are the ones that you bought from TDS. I don't think if y'all put a single new customer online in Amelia,
We haven't installed any additional new fiber. No, sir.
it been here for how long?
Well, we closed on the property in
Mm.
April or May.
No, when was this project started with River Street? The grants and all that? 6 years?
What's going on?
Yeah,
4 years
before my
now?
time.
Well, I've been here
Before
4
my
years
time,
and this was all done
I've been
before
here
I
for-
got on the board.
Like I said,
Correct.
I've had more complaints since they've been here than I ever heard from TDS, and I didn't think TDS was world's greatest.
you said something, Joseph?
Oh, no, I'm just agreeing. It's been longer than I've been on the board, and I've been here 6 years, that you've been doing this project longer than that.
I mean, I felt like as a county, we'd have been
Here, the
better off
ARPA
to
funds
take
have
the
to be spent by June next year. How are we gonna spend the funds when you're not even gonna be finished by then?
I feel like we've been better off to take your funds if they'd have let us and buy Starlink for every citizen in the county and we'd have been done and it'd have worked. Bingo. Cause we ain't getting it now.
I mean, I didn't want to bust your bubble. I mean, I'm just stating what the citizens, and that's who I represent, the citizens.
I understand, and I appreciate the candid feedback. And Mr. Easter, I would love to have a sidebar conversation with you and any of the board to discuss some of the issues that you've seen, what you're hearing, what you're running into, so that we can try to address any of that.
They
There,
just want hookups.
Well, I think
That's what we want is hookups.
It's the timeline. Start with, you just can't commit the timelines that you've promised this board itself.
Well, again, a lot of the timelines were shifted with the acquisition and the obtainment of that tool, that asset, and that network, which took us to a total redesign of everything that we had already planned. And, you know, I don't have any excuses. I don't want to give any excuses. I'm just saying we acquired a system here. We've absorbed that system in. We've taken on and inherited a lot of the issues that were already there, inherent to a copper network. You know, I won't say that everything we've done has been, we've had no bumps and bruises from that acquisition, but we have a plan and we're executing more quickly on a lot of things. And so I feel pretty confident, you know, in working with our engineering group to provide this update of where we're going to be, that the construction will be underway in the first quarter of next year, and we're going to roll it out really quickly.
I go be straight. We've heard engineers. I haven't never heard their first shovel or trencher going in the ground. And that's all we hear.
The
The engineers
man,
doing this, the engineers doing that. And the service is terrible.
You see, you have a plan.
Okay.
When was the last time you was in here telling us something? I'm trying to sit here and remember the last time y'all presented something.
It was 3 or 4 months.
yeah,
It's 3 or 4
ago.
months. Well, we need to know something a little bit quicker than that.
Well,
Because we are
Well,
answering
Dexter,
to the
Dexter,
people.
9 months ago, they were gonna invite us to a groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, they did clear the ground at Manborough. We do have a piece of ground
Acquisition of
cleared and a load of
TDS.
gravel dumped down, but that's it.
Go ahead, Joe.
Let me ask you about your acquisition of TDS. Your acquisition of TDS. I understand you said it delayed things. So you obviously made an acquisition because you thought there's some benefit. it didn't benefit the timeline. That's clear. And therefore, it must benefit the cost. So will you be reducing the cost we have to pay?
It didn't improve.
If it doesn't benefit the cost or the time, why'd you do the acquisition?
So again, if you go back, instead of having to acquire 5 building sites, we only had to acquire 1. And anytime we go to acquire a building site, we have to go through negotiations either with the county or private property owner to get the easements, which takes time. Then we have to go through, get the VDOT permit to access through an easement on the property. And that's what Greg was saying earlier. When we bought TDS, we fast-tracked the need to build out 4 building sites, which takes some time. I mean, we were in negotiation with a group that was supposedly doing a tower site here for months and months and months, where we were going to try to co-locate on that tower site. And I don't think we ever got that finished. And so this has enabled us to sidestep some of that and get buildings ready to go so that we can start building out. So in some degree, it did slow down the process, but once we got the building sites and we have all the easements and we have all the right of ways, then we can jumpstart the build.
We streamlined a site for you right here in the courthouse.
You did, sir. You did.
But I mean, how many maps have you showed us in 4 years that this is gonna happen by this date, this is gonna happen by this date, and so on and so on? And it's never happened.
And again.
But then you have citizens that are hearing this and it doesn't happen, then they're upset. And they call me. I know there's one in the audience right now that would probably love to get up here, but yeah. And, you know, I mean, internet is important. And then when you start telling somebody they're going to receive it and it never happens, that just escalates things.
Right.
And last time you were here, we're coming from Denwoody to Manborough, right down Namazine Road. And I go by there multiple times a week. And it's still exactly like it was after they buried it. There's nothing done. And it's just sitting there. So it's almost like we're going to do a little bit here, do a little bit here, do a little bit here, do a little bit there, but we're never going to finish anything. And then the next question is, when does our Vanity Grant money run out? I mean, there's a time limit on that. I don't know who's managing the project, but the whole thing is a disaster, period.
According to this paperwork, it runs out next June. I don't see how we could possibly spend it.
So Michael's on the line. He can talk more about that. He's been the one administering the grant for us.
I didn't talk.
Michael?
You talking about?
So the networking like in town here, have y'all done anything to that? The way I understand it, y'all are just using it till y'all can upgrade it, but I'm hearing people saying their quality has gotten worse. I don't understand how it can get worse when it's the same system, or they're not the same system.
Yeah.
Man, one lady's got a credit card machine and a computer to look up parts, and they've like, she's been there forever, but now she can't probably run her business because of it.
Oh, yeah, I've had that complaint also now.
And I don't understand how it got worse.
I
It's
got
the same setup.
Seems like we've had more problems in this building since it was done.
I mean, the number of reports and troubles that we've had coming in haven't been any different than what we obtained in the logs, you know, with the acquisition. I think I can't speak to any of that. I would have to, you know, talk to customer service and operations and see, but, you know, we get monthly reports and it's, you know, it's been kind of status quo, the technology and the system. Now, we've done upgrades in the cabinets, in the CO to get preparation for power and things for all the upgrades that are going in there. But as far as I know, none of that has impacted the quality of service for the customer. It is a copper network, and that's the problem. And unfortunately, when we're very well used to this, when we inherit a company that's a copper network, getting it overbuilt with fiber cannot happen soon enough.
Yeah, but we started getting different complaints after y'all took over, and you still using their network where we didn't get the complaints when they were doing it.
And I'd be happy to take those on and look at each one and,
You know.
field those to us.
We're not talking to the corporate office in Charlotte or whatever. We're looking at y'all too.
Right.
And that's
Absolutely.
why, I mean, I ain't got nothing against you, but like I said,
Yeah.
I hate to bust your bubble and get this started, but we gotta talk to the people.
I mean, the big question is though, like Mr. Easton said, the money runs out. There's not enough months in the calendar to do what you need to do before the money runs out. And then we're stuck. Or are you gonna make up a difference or what?
The funding that he's talking about is ARPA funding that has must be spent by December of 2026.
Okay,
When
so
he was saying
a year.
the current project.
That's not what the document, that's not what the documentation in our packet says. It says by June of 2026. So someone's wrong.
To be appropriated by June of
It says
26.
the ARPA funds are June.
The ARPA funds had to be appropriated by 2024 and had to be spent by the end of 2026. Yes.
Okay, somebody gave us wrong information.
Yeah.
Another question I had was about rates.
So the information that was provided was from Michael, and we're trying to get him connected. He's having some technical issues.
I would too.
Can we wait or?
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Go
you.
ahead.
I was just updating.
It don't matter.
Every month for like 3 or 4 months, the rates kept changing. And then he got very upset and couldn't ever get a hold of anybody on the phone. He finally did, like he did, he just switched. He said, "Hey, I'm done. I've tried, and every single month it changes. I've tried to reach out and see what's going on. Couldn't ever get an answer."
Yeah, there was a snafu between the last bill cycle that TDS was scheduled to bill to the customer and what we were scheduled to bill the following month. There were two problems. TDS left a charge off on their last bill that we had to bill and collect for the first month we took over payment. And then our billing company inaccurately loaded the wrong calculation, and so it didn't bill quite what it was supposed to be. So in the second bill cycle, that had to be corrected. So it did appear to some customers that their bill went up. It went down a little bit before they left TDS, then it went up, and then it came to its new norm. And so that was a problem in the synchronization between transferring the billing over from their system into ours.
Well, every time I've called with the issue, I mean, I've gotten good service and they've fixed it. You know, so I can't complain about that. But
Yeah. We did go through a spell where we did have extremely high call volume, and that has restored. It's lower and back down to normal. And we get reports on a daily and weekly basis showing the call volume to be pretty normal and not requiring extremely long hold times. We've also staffed up. We've added more people too. We were in the process of adding people at the time of the acquisition. And so they had to be trained and.
Can you operate a shovel?
No, I get it.
I know
We don't
y'all-
want to belay that. I think you get the point that we're not happy. The citizens of Amelia are not happy.
and that's our
Okay.
boss.
And there's a question on when the funds run out. We've really seen that.
I don't
map.
think there's a question. I think Michael's information is in the packet. It's really, I know, sorry, David, I don't mean to argue with you. It's really clear here. Contract 22 for VATI, it says, has ARPA funds that must be fully spent by June 30th, 2026. Then contract 23 has VATI, has ARPA funds must be spent by November 6th, 2026. So there's two different contracts y'all are working under, but you got one that expires in June and one that expires on November 6th. Either way, I don't see how we authorize the spending of our ARPA funds by those dates when you say you're not going to be finished until 2027. I think you have a big problem if we don't authorize the release of our ARPA funds. I think that's what you need to take back and figure out.
How
Why
long
would we,
ago did y'all
why would
set
we release ARPA funds?
the building in Blackstone?
I'm not sure.
It's been months and nothing's happened there neither. I feel like y'all are spread too thin. You bit off more than you can handle.
Again, it wasn't about, it's never been about being spread too thin. It's been about acquiring a network that we had to absorb into our original.
But you're saying that for here. I'm seeing it in other localities. That's why I asked about Blackstone. I mean, that building site was set there.
Is that Dinwiddie?
No, it's not away.
Well, we didn't make
It's
you do
not
that
a-
acquisition.
That's y'all, because I saw the crane setting it and your River Street trucks were there. And that's probably been there 5 or 6 months.
Is that Military Road?
No, that is, what's the road that takes you in the main into Blackstone? I can't think of it right now.
40.
Right off of 460.
Mm-hmm. I can't think.
Yeah, going to Pickett.
Darvish Road.
We could, I mean, I could look into
But I mean,
that.
that building's been there for 5 or 6 months and that was it. They set it. That was it. Nothing else happened. There's no trenching. There's no wires. It's just, we set a building, we're doing something, look. And that's the way it seems to us. And like I said, Elon's my friend and it's instant.
I dare say, when you do get it built out, the customers that you're trying to get to that you don't already have
You lost.
under the acquisition of TDS, they're not gonna be there when you get there. I mean, I hear friends of mine are getting Starlink or getting something, because they haven't had anything for years, other than what they can get off their Verizon phone or whatever, T-Mobile, whichever one they had.
Well, my main concern, just what Joseph was saying, is the time that this is taking to do this and the money starts running out. And we are being approached, we need some more money to finish this up. Well, we don't have that money. Times are tight. And I can't see the people having to fork out more money for something that they were promised in the beginning and they're not getting it.
It's not we're not coming back to the county asking for any more money to finish on the construction. What you guys
We
have
don't know
obligated to, what you guys have obligated to is that's the max you're obligated to. It's up to us to make up the difference.
And that's always been our condition, that we would make up the difference in the cost.
Right.
Y'all better get on the ball.
Is there anything that y'all can promise us tonight? Guaranteed?
But
They didn't hold the first one they give us.
See what he said.
I mean, construction will begin after the first of the year. I can promise it. You know, we're gonna do, what we've told you our plan is in this presentation for the number of locations of 3,200 locations in 2026. That's in our mandate to build next year for Amelia County. It's in our timeline. So
You said something about the VDOT and the bonds and stuff, that Nottaway was so much cheaper than Amelia.
yeah, it's.
Well,
there's
where you go to get to Nottaway?
We go to
Lynchburg?
VDOT Nottaway.
Lynchburg?
I don't know where the.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure where.
It's
the resident
Lynchburg.
is. It might
Do
be.
you know where you go to get it from Amelia? Richmond. That's where your extra cost is coming from.
Okay.
Well, we could berate this all night. I think we both know where each other stand.
there he is.
There he is.
There he is.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Oh, it worked. I apologize for that. Coming in on the end of the conversation here. So I will address the question of the June 26th. So that's our contract deadline. We are going to be requesting an extension through the end of 2026. That is when ARPA funds need to be expended. And we're working with River Street, holding their feet to the fire to get the project completed by then. They've got locations that are outside of VATI that are on different timelines. But we are focused on the end of 2026 to get the project completed. We have had concerns from other counties. We have some counties that are really happy, and I fully understand the frustration that folks have. I waited for internet to get to my house, watched it take forever to get to me, so I know what it's like to see construction happening and to not be able to connect. So I fully understand the frustration. We, as the PDC, are available for the county. We're working for you all on this project. You can always reach out to me. If citizens have questions, you can come to me. We'll make sure we get answers for you. And again, the project is going to move forward. I'd be happy to talk in more detail with the supervisors offline about the timeline, things that have happened, how things have gone. I'd be happy to come to Amelia County and talk to you all about that. Not a problem at all.
Thank you, sir. As I was saying, we could berate this all night.
It is what it is.
Come back when you have something, but this,
We need some action.
this is not, what
That's
we're,
what we need.
what's going on now is not working, so. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you all.
Just continue and last night meeting, now we're being a little nasty.
The whole thing is a joke. It's just because it's government money.
Well,
I
folks,
do appreciate Michael's
sorry
offer.
that
to
one
come
got a
talk.
little
Maybe
heated.
we should take him,
Sorry.
David, maybe we can consider taking Michael up on his offer to come talk to us about some options in the future. We can talk about that offline, I'm sure.
Okay, call me.
No, but
Good, Joe?
offline, people need to hear it.
Yeah.
No offline.
All right.
The people need to hear it.
Brings us up to Crossroads, Dr. Ahmed and Mr. Jeff Martin from the Mino Life. This is a option on our opioid money that we were granted to Amelia. I've sat in on several presentations of different things to do. I haven't seen anything except possibly this one that would actually put the money back into the county. And I think that's what the go ahead. I'm just rambling. You got me.
That's all right. Good evening. Thanks for the invite. I'm here under the assumption that I'm just presenting information about Mino Life, which is a 1-year residential recovery community. I want to say before I kind of jump in that I'm in Cumberland. I have Starlink and it works great. So
We already know that.
I hear you. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I sent a video link that we might play right at the very end.
Okay.
But I'm just going to go through the timeline a little bit, how we got started, when we got started, and why we got started. Talk a little bit about the facility we have and what we use, and then the program itself. And then we have questions. And if there's something I'm not covering you need to know, I'm happy to try and answer that too. So we started in the middle of COVID, 2020. Gentleman, James Henshaw and myself. My name's Jeff Martin, by the way. I'm the director of Mino Life. We were working together at an addiction recovery ministry in Richmond. And he was in charge of the building and grounds, and I was in charge of the pastoring part of it. And we learned to know one another because the guys that would come in, they would work with him if they had the skill set. And we would talk about what would it look like to do something in the middle of nowhere that we're doing there in the city. I'd come to work and the guys would be walking down the road and I have to go get them, bring them back. And what would it look like to do a job, the work side of our program, something a little different than a thrift store. And so anyway, what we did was we bought a sawmill. COVID hit, that church reorganized, and we decided to form a 501c3, Mino Life, and we bought a sawmill. Our wives signed off on that, and we got started. And we started milling in 2020. We got the business side put in place, and then in 2021 we purchased 2 acres. We thought we would buy a house or we'd rent a house, and it just didn't work out that way. So we actually bought 2 acres, we had it cleared, and we got ready to build a house, and I'm giving you the short version here. 2022, we broke ground on that house. 2023, we finished the house, and we took in our first residents. And since then, we've been off and running. We've stayed full. Our motto is to have a family type atmosphere. So we have about 8 guys living in a house, and we stayed full with 5 to 8. 5 is a full house, grown men living together. So 8 is really full. But we stayed pretty much full through that time. We hired a very part-time house manager. He's there with the guys. And then in 2024, some land became available just across the road, connected to our 2 acres, 18 and a half acres of cutover land. Ugly land, but the owner worked with us, and we went ahead and bought it. And we then transitioned our sawmill off of land we were renting onto that land. And in 2025, we started making, with the lumber we're producing, we started making something called swamp mats. Y'all know what swamp mats are? I didn't know what swamp mats were. Our mill operator told me what they were, and I said, man, that sounds like a lot of work. I don't know if I want to do it. However, I'm not the smartest man in the room sometimes, and we've been making swamp mats now since, middle of 2025. And the gentleman right here in Amelia, he buys all the swamp mats, and that's become the product that we kind of focused on. We mill for that, and that's the product that we focus on. We also mill some other things. So that's the work side. We have 18 and a half acres with a sawmill. We just recently have platted that land, submitted a plat to build 3 houses around the sawmill. So not many subdivisions have sawmill front property, but that's what we got. And then we have plans being drawn up for that, and we hope to, in 2026 in the spring, get started in building our second house, which will essentially double the capacity that we have. That's the timeline. And we believe with all our heart, that if you can get men into a community where you take away their access to whatever substance they use, and you kind of build a space where you're working together, you're doing house chores together, you're sharing space, living quarters together, you're recreating together, you're worshiping together. I should say we're faith-based, so there's worship in the middle of all that. And when you do that, what happens is things start to come bubbling to the surface. And when that happens, what we're trying to do is create a space where, when that happens, a man might dare to say out loud what it is that's his issue. And then we come alongside and we kind of point them in the right direction. And here, this is kind of the program part. It says that the kind of the overarching thing for us is we're a place where meaningful work and authentic community, and we just call it the kingdom of God, where they intersect. It's a place where the joy of Jesus is experienced and where human beings flourish. A place where those stuck in addiction gain freedom and receive however much healing they want, really. So we're a 1-year program, all right? And so when a guy comes into our community, what we ask, can you give us a year? And the premise being, you didn't get to where you are all of a sudden. You're not going to go in a new direction all of a sudden either. So can you give us a year? And that first 30 days is a hard disconnect. One of the things, the biggest trip up for a lot of the guys that we deal with is this thing right here that they have with them all the time. So we ask for a hard disconnect. The first 6 months, they don't have a cell phone. And what that does, it forces you, instead of looking like this, it forces you to look like this. And that's probably one of the best things we do. And then we work together 30 hours a week. We're over at the sawmill. When I first started, I didn't know what a sawmill was. My partner did. I didn't. He ran the sawmill. I stacked boards. You can get a lot of thinking done when you're stacking boards. Your mind goes all over the place when you're stacking boards. You're just stacking. And so part of what we're doing is when men come together on a team and they're doing work, building swamp mats, there's a lot of things that start to come up when you're tightening down bolts and when you're laying out lumber. And when those things start to come up, instead of you being isolated, you're around some guys that care about you and want to hear what you have to say and are willing to walk with you through some things. So that's our model. There's a high value placed on connection. Most of the problems we encounter are because guys are isolated. They don't have anybody. They just go to alcohol. They go to their drug of choice, and they never really connect with anybody except that. And when you come into Mino, that isn't an option anymore. So now you're forced to start connecting this way, and then we're also encouraging you to connect this way. So that's in essence what we do. We have a lot of connection here. I should say we're located in Cumberland. We have a lot of connection here in Amelia. We partnered unintentionally, really. We've ended up partnering with businesses here in Amelia. Bora Mechanical, they did our plumbing. They did our HVAC in the house. Our general contractor, he's from down here in Amelia. We got connected to Pastor Dusty Webb. He and I knew each other from before, and that led to a relationship with Love Covenant Fellowship on Prizeville Road. 5 years ago, I had no idea that Prizeville Road existed. Now I do. We travel that road quite a bit. We go to a men's meeting. We bring our guys down to that. And so there's a lot of connection with Amelia. Our mission is to provide something for Central Virginia, for the counties, Buckingham County, Cumberland County, Amelia County. We've had guys from Nottoway County. We have guys from Hanover County, some from Powhatan. And we want to offer something here so that whenever you have somebody who has an issue with substance abuse or addiction, you don't have to cart them off to Galax or Roanoke or Richmond or wherever. You can send them one county up. So anyway, so that's essentially what we do. That's who we are.
What's your success rate looking like?
Well, it depends on when you measure.
Okay.
This past year, we had about 10 to 15 guys go through, and we're starting to see now guys last and go through the whole year. And the ones that go through the whole year, they do well. The ones that go through 6 months, they do better than they did when they came in. We don't really have enough data to say how they do in 5 years from now after they leave. Or I brought one guy with me tonight. He's doing great. So yeah.
Have you had some that left, well, graduated, I guess?
Yeah.
And came back and still kind of helped you out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 guys that have gone through the program and are still in it. The way we structure it is the first 6 months, a man comes in and we're trying to transition him from being a user to a giver. And that doesn't just using drugs, but it's viewing people not as something to be used, but as somebody to connect with. And so if you hang around our guys when they first come in and they meet you, they're thinking, how can I use you? What do you know? What do you got that I need? And we're trying to transition them. So they come in and they work 30 hours a week at the mill as volunteer interns. And we feel like 30 hours a week is not too much. It's a good amount. And then they spend 2 hours a week in class, 2 hours a day in class. And so after 6 months, they transition into paid. We find them jobs in the community. We have a couple guys working at Moslow Wood Products there in Powhatan. And we have a broad network of businessmen that we have connections with. They like what we're doing. And so if we have a guy that's uniquely skilled for something or has an aptitude for something, we'll try and hook them up with with someone who's in that business. And then they continue to live in Mino while they're working that second 6 months. And we do that because, you gotta have some money once you leave to rent something or to get established, buy a car, whatever. You're gonna need money afterwards. So that last 6 months is saving money up. So that's kind of how we're structured, big picture.
What made
How did-
y'all,
Go ahead.
what made y'all decide to do a sawmill? Because
Yeah.
I had worked at one. And other than working in tobacco, that's the next to the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, well, that's,
And you say you're throwing boards.
Yeah.
I know how big them mats are.
Yeah.
And you got help putting them boards over there. You're not doing
Oh,
it by yourself. If you are, I don't want to ever mess with you.
are you judging by what you're seeing standing here?
I just know how big and heavy them oak
Well,
boards are.
the guy I partnered with, he grew up logging and he grew up in Cumberland. That's kind of why we ended up in Cumberland. And so he kind of knew his way around that. And I think he kind of always wanted to do a sawmill. And so we got a pretty hefty sawmill. It's not a huge one, but it's
If it's
that-
not all.
and he might have known some things I didn't know. He knew he was going to be standing there running the sawmill,
Mhm.
and he knew that he wasn't going to be on the back end toting boards.
How do you
It's
get,
too late by the time I figured it out.
how do you get your folks that come to you? Are they court ordered or are they just
Yeah.
volunteer?
We,
How do you find them, I guess?
we prefer that they be court ordered because then they have to stay. It's kind of motivation to stay. So
Okay.
some of them come through, they may get arrested on drug charges of some sort, and they're waiting to find out what the court's going to decide. And in that in-between time, they might reach out to us and say, hey, would you write a letter saying that you would accept me into your program if you have space? And we say, well, let's talk a little bit. And we talk to their attorney. And so that might be one way. Another way might be, you might have a nephew or you might have a neighbor. They need some help, and you may advocate for them, and you may bring them. I mean, what I find is almost all of us know somebody that's struggling with an addiction of some sort.
Yeah.
And that being in the case, well, and I was a pastor for a number of years, and I also know when you find somebody that's struggling with an addiction, it's all time consuming. It'll suck you. You can't do enough. And so what we're doing is we want to partner really with the communities to provide some kind of help for the guys that we know. Right now, we're doing it for guys. Our dream, our plan is to do it for women as well. Our board of directors, however, right now, they won't let us do one on the same property as we're doing guys' houses. And they're probably
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You need to get down to the kids.
Yeah.
Something that.
Well, what we
There
find.
she is. This is something right here.
But what we find is when you have a guy come in, you end up dealing with his mom, his kids, his wife. I mean, I end up, it's a whole community thing. The ones that do the best are the ones that have support, not just from us, but from others. And what we end up doing is being an encouragement to the other support they have. Because usually by the time they get to a place where they're willing to come to Mino, nobody else wants them around. Everybody else is done. And we say, what we say when they come is, hey, let's give this guy one more year. How about one more year? And then we'll see. And,
It's good.
Okay.
do you have the video? Did you want to watch the video? Do you have
Sure.
time for it?
We get paid by the hour.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do y'all know how to put fiber in the ground?
Oh,
Yeah. We got shovels.
hey, one of our board of directors has a boring company. So we, Let's see.
One on River Street ain't got something that's.
That's to answer your question earlier.
Hmm?
That was to answer your question, River Street.
Yes.
Thank you.
So while he's getting that up and running, one of the things that we found is we kind of stumbled into a lot of partnerships with a lot of different places, state parks, Bear Creek State Park and Powhatan State Park and Holiday Lake. We use our slab wood, provide them with firewood. And so we've had volunteers, groups come in from all over the place to help us do that. And that's turned into just a network of people. I mean, all over Amelia, Cumberland, Powhatan, and there's some churches in the city, Richmond, that come out. And so we've ended up with a lot of really strong partnerships. I told my wife, my idea was to find one big church or one real rich person to fund the whole thing and be done with it. Instead, we probably got 300 or 400 people that they all act like owners. If you talk to them, they feel like they're owners, and if they talk too much like an owner, we put them on our board. So.
So as y'all expand, are y'all gonna expand the mill, or y'all come up with other projects, or what's the plan as y'all expand?
Well,
chemical dependence, substance abuse.
Put that on hold. Almost.
So what brought me to Mino at the time was chemical dependence, substance abuse.
I was heavy into drinking and it kind of got out of control, so I wanted to fix that.
I was struggling with addiction, and also I felt like I was always trying to be in control of my own life.
Drank so much that I had to drink in the morning in order to level out. So I was drinking and driving, going to work, and coming home. Unless I was drinking, I wasn't happy.
I needed to really get a handle on that. I have a family back home, a wife and 5 kids.
Mino is a residential, faith-based recovery community, not so much a program, but a community where character's formed, hopefully quicker than it might in just normal life.
The hardest part, I guess, was structure, because I had not really been structured lately. Sleeping whenever you want, eating whenever you want, doing whatever you want. You need a structure in your life to grow.
The sawmill is where we learn how to work together on a team. And the work is both challenging and repetitive. And so there's a lot of things that come up inside a person working at the mill.
I like working at the mill. It's very satisfying because we turn logs into lumber. It's instant gratification. You get to learn about, if you never run a chainsaw before, hey, you get to run a chainsaw.
Especially us as men, we need to feel productive. And yeah, while that might be milling lumber all day and stacking boards, there's a therapeutic quality in that of being productive and contributing. And there's also downtime. The motto here is being still and staying put.
It's a safe place, a quiet place to clear your head and get back to what's really important in life.
In maybe other programs, it's all about going from one group to the next, one meeting to the next, and just inundating you with material. We're taking a different approach. We're wanting to let you be still, kind of remove distraction, and let you really give you a space to do the work that you're led to do with gentle coaching and prodding along the way.
It's a very calm, peaceful place. There's no stress. You don't have to worry about daily bills or what you're gonna eat. Knowing what it's like to be sober without the stresses of the outside world.
It's a beautiful environment to find the Lord. I mean, the Spirit's strong out here. It really is.
We actually have guys living here. We have guys interacting with one another. Jesus is in the middle of the whole thing, and so we see God doing things in the lives of the guys that are here.
You know, we're reading the Bible. That's one thing I've never done. I hadn't really read the Bible, but actually reading the Bible is pretty good. It's some pretty good stories in it.
I had a lot of conversations, deep conversations, not surface level conversations, real conversations that it's been a long time since I've had. For me personally, a lot of things have come out of my mouth that I'd never thought I'd ever say out loud, let alone to another human being. But there's a lot of healing in that. I used to be like stone cold emotionally for years, and all of a sudden everything, so like even you start bringing up my kids, I try to hold it together.
There's something about simply being in community where people are listening to you and where you're listening to them, and you begin to trust that you can be who you are, and you realize that you're not alone in what you're dealing with, that others are dealing with the same things.
I didn't have very many friends, you know, for a long time. I haven't had any friends. I was isolated, you know, but hanging out with the guys, I mean, we're joking back and forth, and it's just fun. It's like, you know, having friends again.
I laugh more in just a week than I did in a long time.
You meet real people out here that truly care about you. They're actually your friend. They're not being your friend just about what they can get out of you or what they can get from you. You actually learn what a friend is and what community is out here. And the people genuinely just want to help you because it's in their heart.
Everyone's so tight-knit and look after each other. It's kind of like a family atmosphere.
This is the closest I probably had to a brother or brothers. If I had to guess what a real family would be, this would be what it is.
What surprised me is when I went to the church at how welcome I felt. It was like a calming feeling that I'd never felt before. Felt like I belonged here.
I've met people that I've never met. They've told me that them and their church have been praying for me for, you know, before I ever even got out here. That changes your perspective on a lot of things, and it does the heart good.
Everyone just makes you feel so welcome, not like you're a struggling addict in the community. They make you feel like you're just already a part of the community.
I was in a church play. I was in a Christmas play. I never thought in a million years that I would be in a church play. Are you kidding?
I always say that they typically feed us pretty well wherever we go.
We eat very good. Yes, you can tell. One thing I've gained, you know, I've gained a lot of my muscle back because alcohol takes a lot of your muscles away. I didn't realize that, but I mean, I'm so much more healthy now here, you know, because I've been here like almost going on 5 months now. But now, like I said, man, I feel like I did when I was a teenager. I mean, I'm getting my mojo back, I guess.
So while we've opened our doors for guys to live in residence here in community, one of the things we did not anticipate was that we would have an opportunity to buy 18 acres just right across the road from where we are. We have an opportunity to put more houses on the 18 acres. We're master planning for at least 4 more of those. And we also are going to have an opportunity to begin to do some farming, greenhouse farming, where we're raising the food that we use here. As we continue to expand and offer services to more people, we're going to need house leaders. We're going to need partners. We want to give ourselves to something that matters, something that's making a difference. And that's what's happening. There's partners that we don't even really anticipate who are coming. They're working alongside the guys here. They're taking ownership in what's happening here, and whether it's through financial partnership or time partnership, walking alongside, it's something that's real. And it's something that's actually making a difference in the lives of the guys that are here, but not just the guys that are here, it's the family systems that these guys are a part of.
When I return to my family, I can do that, you know, as a better husband, as a better father, as a better just member of the community.
I mean, it's a lifetime journey. We say a year here, but the reality is, you're just getting started. Whether someone comes in for a day, a week, a month, God's gonna work on them.
You know, even my wife and kids are saying, you know, you smile more than, You did. You laugh more, and a lot of that in the house that just kind of radiates and kind of takes root in your soul.
And next week I'm getting baptized, so that's the biggest part. Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to be baptized on the 14th.
The truth is, over time, something beautiful is happening. Lives are being renewed, they're being changed, and it's happening right here in our community. It's real.
That gives you a little bit of flavor of what we do. I'd love for you to come out and see for yourselves. Do a field trip. This Board of Supervisors do field trips.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have to announce it.
Been a while.
There you go. But we'd love for you to come out and show you what's going on. Any other questions?
What part of Cumberland you at?
We're right just past the transfer station off of 60. Animal Control is back that way. You know where that is? You take 13 to 60, just do this, and you go back past the end of state maintenance, and that's where we are.
The expansion question.
Yeah.
Were you gonna expand the mill, or y'all got other projects you wanna?
Well, with the swamp mats, our goal has always been.
As you build more houses.
Yeah. So our goal has always been with the business enterprises that we do, for that to cover as much of the operational expenses as it can. And then we depend on partners to make up the difference, like building houses and that kind of thing. But we have a greenhouse. Like since then, we actually have a hot tunnel that we built, and it's there on the property. We're in the middle right now of getting it wired and getting heat. We have a wood boiler that we're hooking up that's going to heat the hothouse and the greenhouse. So our goal there is to grow food for the community and also sell food to the community. So we have that going on. And then we also, with each one of the houses, there's land behind the houses that the ultimate goal is to do some farming back off of that. We have a couple acres in Powhatan that we love to sell. It's landlocked.
Well, don't expect you to make any money farming. I can tell you that real.
Yeah, well, trust me, our chickens we have chickens, we spent more money in feed than we're ever going to get in eggs.
That moment it came. But you said a while ago about your slabs and donating to different organizations for firewood.
Yeah.
Have you thought about social services? A lot of these older folks and stuff that still got wood stoves.
Yeah,
that the Virginia legislators are trying to outlaw as of next year.
Gas too.
Yeah.
Gas, propane, kerosene, and wood.
Yeah.
If they get their way in Richmond, no more. And they almost got it with Youngkin there. Now they don't have them to block it.
Well, let's pray that never happens. We depend on wood. Yeah. We do. We take slab wood to some widows that we have a relationship with, and but I haven't done that a whole lot. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
That puts another option on the table for us. Really, one of the homegrownest ones I've heard, and I think that's a good thing we're looking for on this opioid stuff. All right, we'll get the staff to look over and all the rules of the opioid money, and we'll be talking to you. All right. We're not even halfway through this thing tonight, guys.
That's why we get paid by the hour.
That's right. Solid waste. Philip, this is one of the items that we added to the, I was gonna dump it in right there after on staff committees.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and
Hey,
board
Philip.
members. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
I am a proud Starlink owner also and very happy with it. And I promise you, I won't be as motivated as that story right there. I'm up here to talk to you tonight as the chairman of the landfill committee for Amelia. And I know we've discussed some of the ordinances changing and possibly some modifications. The last meeting that we had in October as a committee, one of the issues that's come up is the accessibility for residents to deposit bulk items in the landfill. And I don't know that it's become such a big issue as the fact that we actually have security officers now, security personnel at the landfill that are actually enforcing the rules and enforcing the law. And so what we talked about were maybe modifying, adjusting the ordinances, because right now, individuals who work, say out of the county, cannot make it back in time to meet that 9 to 5 deadline to get into the main center to drop off the larger items, the bulk items. And so I'm here tonight to see what your pleasure is as far as the committee moving forward with what kind of ordinance modifications you would like us to look at, if y'all are interested in entertaining that. Basically, we're trying to make it more convenient for the residents to be able to deposit these items. I know I've been to the Maplewood Center and I see wash machines, sofas, you name it, just sit outside the containers. That's not supposed to be happening. Security personnel now are doing their job and they are stopping individuals from doing that.
Gentlemen, that's kind of what, thank you, Philip.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of what brought Philip here tonight. I got several complaints of the dumpsters being full and people unable to dump. And there was actually some handouts being handed out on the disposal of large items. So that kind of got the talk going. And then we realized that the solid waste ordinance is where all that is covered in. So we felt like, if y'all feel like it, it'd be a good time to review it and make sure each party is providing what they need to, and the citizens have a place to dump their trash when they're available. So, any questions, Joseph?
Oh, I was waiting for, looked like one of y'all were gonna ask a question.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, yep. So in the modified staff report that we sent out, in there, it cites the specific section. And then just for clarification too, doing this change is not going to affect the agreement with Waste Management, and it's not going to affect the special exception permit. So this is totally separate from that.
Okay. Any questions from board members? Jeff, you have anything? We're not really hurting anything, just looking at this, are we?
No, I mean, to Mr. Pollock's point, anything that does impact the agreement or the special exception permit would have to be done through that process. So, special exception permit is a zoning action. So if we get into, if in this review, which sounds like a great idea, but if in the course of that, things come up that do impact the special exception permits, then that would be, there's a process to go through, a zoning process to change that. The agreement is a two-party agreement, so that's a discussion, obviously, with Waste Management. So I'm here to provide legal support as discussions progress and ideas come forward. But I don't, there's no problem with reviewing it. It's probably been a while since everything's been reviewed.
All right, gentlemen, any questions? We got to take an action on, we've got to give them the authority to look at this. So there's two options for the motions on your handout.
Yeah, you the landfill, man.
Go to direct the landfill advisory committee to review and offer recommendation on the convenience center ordinance.
All right, gentlemen, motion on the floor. Any more discussion? All in favor of directing the LAC to look into the,
Joseph, did you have something?
ordinance?
Sorry.
All right,
Sorry,
all in
but-
favor, raise your hand. All right, thank you, Philip.
Thank you, gentlemen. Keep up the good work. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And we got a monthly finance presentation.
Han's not available. She's on vacation.
Okay. Sheriff's Office. Really, that was on, that's my bad.
Good evening, everybody.
The whole group of. Okay.
All right, gentlemen, so I'm here with Mr. Ball and Mr. Harrison from the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, as well as Ms. Murphy from DSS, talking with you about appropriation requests to get some funds to form a formal partnership with the Child Advocacy Center, which operates in Chesterfield County. Gonna give me just a second here to get our presentation up here. But while we're looking into that, I can kind of start. I've got my notes here. Oh, good, now it's up. Okay. So few stakeholders that'll be involved in this outside of the county would be the actual Child Advocacy Center down in Chesterfield, which is called the Davis Child Advocacy Center. It would also involve the Bonds Corps Violence Response Team in certain cases. And then the other stakeholders would be us, the Sheriff's Office, DSS, and then the Commonwealth Attorney's Office / Victim Witness Assistance Program. So what you might be wondering is what most people that don't work in this field would be asking is, what is a which way to up here? Okay. It was working. Can you do it still on? It says it's on, yeah. Okay, can you go to probably the fourth slide already? Or third slide, sorry. Yeah, there we go, right there. So essentially, guys, a Child Advocacy Center is where we would take juvenile victims of a crime. This is going to usually either be sexual in nature or violent in nature. It can also be a child witness to a crime. And the Child Advocacy Center will provide a few services. The biggest one they do is they conduct specialized forensic interviews. They also have mental health services that they can provide for. And then the staff of the Child Advocacy Center sort of facilitates the code mandated MDT meetings that we all have to have, which are meetings we do monthly or bi-monthly right now. And essentially it's a case review time to make sure nothing slipped through the cracks, that the cases are being done the way they're supposed to be. So what would be the benefits of this formal partnership? If you can get that up there. Thank you, Hunter. For the Sheriff's Office, the biggest thing is the forensic interviews. These are done by specially trained personnel that operate in the Child Advocacy Center. They're done in a neutral, non-threatening environment. Obviously, the kids that are going to these places, like I said, most of them have been the victims, excuse me, of a sexually based crime or a violent crime. Bringing them into the sheriff's office or to DSS or trying to interview them in a hospital can often be just very difficult to get a good constructive interview done with. And just to be honest with you, the ladies that work down here, this is all they do all day, every day is interview kids. They're far better at it than anybody could be who does one every now and then. So those are the two biggest services from the sheriff's office aspect. We do have the ability, law enforcement and social services, to go down to the Child Advocacy Center when these interviews are done. There's a camera in the room and we can watch the interview live from a room across the hall, so we can get all the information we need. And before the interview is done, we meet with the interviewer in case there's anything additional that we need them to ask that they haven't done. But they're normally pretty spot on about getting what they need. And then another benefit for the sheriff's office is if you have a formal partnership, they do provide free training on various aspects of the investigative process to try and help deputies do it better. I'm going to let Mr. Harrison come up next to talk about the benefits to the Commonwealth Attorney's Office.
The first thing that we've got to look at is these are children. These aren't adults. There are people who have suffered some trauma, whether it's sexual assault, physical assault, mental assaults, but you need somebody who can talk to these children at a level that they will respond to. I don't have the training for that. Deputies don't have the training for that. We need somebody who can get the information that we need in order to be able to properly prosecute the case. We've gone through a number of these and been very successful with it. They've been able to provide us with the experts who can testify They've been able to get the children to a point where they can testify. If we have to have somebody who's going to testify via camera, then they will provide the experts who will come in and talk about the psychological impact on this child so that that child does not have to sit next to or look at the abuser, which is very, very important. I have one case, the abused the daughter, sexually abused the daughter, physically abused the son. Daughter had a lot of problems, took us months to get her to that position. They came in, they talked to her, we had a psychiatrist to deal with it. She came in, she testified well. We got case into circuit court. When we got to circuit court, again, there was a lot of moving parts. We're able to keep the child within the parameters that you could testify. The man pled guilty. The young girl at that time had moved to North Carolina. And when I told her what we had worked out, she kept going like this on the screen, 3 fingers up. And after about the 3rd time, I asked the mother, what does that mean? She says, that's a win for me. So it is very important to our office to have these type of people available to us to be able to prosecute what I would consider monsters out there who take advantage of young children. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay. This is our lovely director at Social Services, Audra Morris. I just want to make sure she was introduced. We're all a team. MDT, it's all of us. DSS's part is we do Child Protective Service investigations. So we use the CAC along with the Sheriff's Office and the Commonwealth's Attorney to do the forensic interviews. I am forensically trained, but they do these interviews every single day. And so it's a controlled environment where these kids can come and they don't have to tell their story multiple times. They come in, they tell it once, they don't have to tell it to me. They don't have to tell it to Deputy Siegel, to Stewart. They tell it once, and then there are services there for them, therapy that they can get before the interview. They can have therapy after the interview. They can have ongoing services and supports that we don't have available in this community. It's available to them by being interviewed at the CAC and us being part of the CAC as an MDT. So I think that's one of the biggest things is it reduces systems trauma. We're all trying to help the best that we can as DSS and the Sheriff's Office, but unfortunately, we do sometimes re-traumatize the people that we work with. No child should be interviewed at their school about a sexual abuse investigation and then be expected to go back to class and function normally. But that is how it happens if you don't have a CAC. So those are the main things. Reduces systems trauma, supports in the community that we do not have available to us. And also they will do interviews for DSS. Sometimes you have kids that victimize other children and they can do interviews to find out what happened to the child perpetrator. So they can get to, was this child victimized? And that could be another investigation and we could find the child predator. So that's a benefit as well. I kept it short.
And I'm just here to support Lynn and the team and answer any budgetary type questions when it comes to DSS, but there shouldn't be any.
I think there was one, have you go cover any more?
Yes, sir, just briefly. So the Davis Child Act Center Chesterfield, it is a public fund. It's run by Chesterfield County. I started taking cases there when I was still an investigator in 2019. Since that time, as you can see up there, they've done 57 courtesy interviews for us. They haven't charged us anything. As far as funding goes for this appropriations request, you see there, the data shows that the average cost of a CAC case is about $2,160. They're offering us a 50% rate on that, which comes out to the $1,080 per interview. So if you look at that 1080 times 57 they've done $61,500 worth of work for us over the last few years for free. But like everywhere, at some point, you can only do free stuff for so long. The CAC down at Chesterfield, the ladies who run it, were hoping that they could continue to work on a courtesy basis with us for the rest of the fiscal year. But the powers that be in Chesterfield said, no, you need to start doing formal partnerships or you're not going to be able to be, doing these courtesy interviews. So that brings us to the number we're asking for. The bill is going to come out to $16,200. That's at a rate of 1,080 times 15 cases, which is what we're anticipating to use based on our previous numbers and kind of our expected rate this year. I wonder if you could switch the slide for me. That essentially, gentlemen, breaks down to $5,400 per agency for the three of us. The sheriff's office looked at our budget. We found $5,400 in equipment that we were willing to use to pay our portion of the bill and do without the equipment that we were going to get, because this is very important. We have to have this. If we can't use Chesterfield CAC, the next closest child advocacy center is in Lynchburg, or there's one in the city of Richmond. This is the closest, most convenient, and the ladies there are just very, very good. So essentially, we're going to be asking for $10,800 to be appropriated to us to pay the rest of that bill. And this is coming from the three agencies, but for simplicity's sake, if it is approved, Sheriff's Office is more than happy for y'all just to appropriate the funds to us so we can pay one invoice instead of three, if you guys can give it to us. Hunter, if you can just switch. There. Yes, sir.
So you're gonna, how should I put this? Pay the $5,400 by not getting the equipment that you say, you're gonna need in the future.
Yes, sir.
So in the future, you're gonna come back and ask us for the $5,400 to get this equipment, right?
Could happen that way. Yes, sir. During budget season. But I will say this, Mr. Jones, if it came down to the equipment that we're willing to do without this every year, we'll choose this every year.
That's understood. That's understood.
Yes.
Is this like
I'm trying to make a point.
a yearly fee, or you said like?
No, yes, sir. We will pay a yearly fee.
Okay, so it's like a membership.
Essentially, it's a professional service.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And yeah, you essentially buy into the club every year if you look at it that way. And so so in our future budgeting, request, we will have this line item. And again, we were hoping to be able to do this next fiscal year, but Chesterfield told the CAC no more. You can't keep doing this at a courtesy level. You need to do it now, and that's why we're here.
Well, so the entry fee is at 15 cases, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes,
So if
sir.
we use more than that,
The number could change because you're going to essentially use rolling data
Yeah.
for what it is going to be your anticipated number for the coming year. So if we had a real bad year this year and we did 30 interviews, they're probably going to bill us higher next year than they are this year. But this is the number we're going off of based off of our current use. I will say, Mr. Robinson, we have been relatively consistent in how much we use them in the 6 years that I've been involved working with these ladies. Obviously, there's going to be highs and lows, but it's not like one year we did 4 and the next year we did 30. So I wouldn't imagine the number would be drastically different from year to year, but the number will not be fixed year to year. No, sir.
so it could come down from this.
We could
Just,
Yes, sir, it could.
I'm just saying, that's all I'm
Yes, sir.
trying to do is
It's
figure out
possible.
up
Yes,
and
sir.
down.
Yes, sir.
I
It
like
is
watching the
possible.
pennies, okay?
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to give them the full amount of $16,200, being we're gonna get a 50% reduction in cost by doing the whole amount, and letting them keep their $5,400 so they don't hit us up next year. If you understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely, sir. Appreciate that.
You can take that off. All right, gentlemen, there's a motion on the floor to,
Get him up there. There you go.
motion, Joseph, did you hear Dexter's motion?
Yes, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Any questions? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next thing on there is information. They just worked some overtime and we had to appropriate $2,266.97 of overtime to it that they received off of working an event. All right, community development report. Let me get to that. Did y'all have any questions on that? Austin, can I pull you up now?
Yes.
Still like his report. They tell us pretty much everything we need to know. But I would like to go over the sign size zoning that we need to send something to the planning commission so they can you bring all the board members up to speed on that?
Yeah, so we had a business in the area, Ace Hardware. They have new business. They put signage up, but want to put more signage up. The current sign ordinance only allows for square footage of signage based on property frontage. In their case, for the shopping center, that's interpreted as their frontage of their business location itself. So in that case, the business is about 70 feet wide. They have about 70 square feet of signage already with the current sign that's there. They want to put 2 more signs, I think around 36 square feet total additional signage on the building. So there is a process that they could ask for a zoning text amendment and do that. There's also the board could authorize staff and the planning commission to look into a change for that. So I think that's what direction we had talked about going with that. The zoning committee of the planning commission is already meeting on this Friday, to discuss tow lots. So the thought was if the board had some consensus to direct the zoning committee while they're already meeting to look into, some changes to the sign ordinance, potentially just, changing to increase that, square footage that's allowed on businesses. Looked at a few other localities and there's a potential to, do it based on the frontage of the building itself multiplied by 1.5 would be about what other localities are doing. So that's a potential, but the zoning committee could get into other options as they discuss it. But yeah, just looking for consensus to direct staff and the zoning committee to look into some changes to that to allow more flexibility for businesses.
What's y'all's thoughts?
I don't have an issue with it.
Joseph?
I'm supportive of moving it forward for review.
Okay. Is that all you need?
Yes.
Okay. Brings us to our DMV report. All right, the VDOT sidewalk project phase 2.
Just an update on that. So not very much turnout for the public hearing last month, and seemed to be unanimous support with moving forward with the project. Mr. Phelps attended, so did Mr. Morris, and you guys can comment on the meeting, what y'all's thoughts were. But I think at this point, it seems like we should move forward with the project, and no reason not to.
I was there, Benji was too, and didn't see anybody against it. Did learn from VDOT that they could have possibly saved some money on the first phase. I kind of tried to impress upon them that they could find the extra money to finish phase 2. Hope that was heard.
The representative's still here from.
I seen back here looking.
What's he hiding?
Yeah, but yeah, I think it was a good presentation. And like I said, nobody came up there with shotguns saying, get off our land, so. You got
I
any?
agree. I think people want it done.
No, they just came for information and a lot of good talk that I saw, so.
Okay. Y'all got any more, y'all got any, keep on going, y'all got any? All right, the exotic animal ordinance. Last month, we heard a draft ordinance. We directed staff to advertise it and come up with it. Get it ready to go in motion before I open the public hearing.
It's no public hearing.
No public hearing, that's right. All right, what's the board's pleasure?
Adopt the ordinance as presented.
All right, motion on the floor to adopt the exotic animal ordinance as presented. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
I don't know if Brian's here. I can't see him in the audience, but I do want to recognize.
Yeah, he's back here.
Oh, he's back there. Oh, so he's sitting on my side, so I can't see him past his wall. Well, I just wanted to say he did a great job working with the legal counsel on this and getting this updated. And I think this is very good work.
Yep. Yep. Thank you to all who was involved. Yes, sir. Trying to find my place. All right, it brings us to the next text amendment ordinance on ADUs. This went back through the planning commission and came back with, I have to help me, Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, you guys discussed, held a public hearing originally on July 18th, that meeting, and discussed it again, the original ordinance for ADUs at the September meeting. At that meeting, you guys directed staff to revise the ordinance to only allow ADUs in A5, RP5, and RR3 zoning districts, which would effectively prohibit them in new subdivisions and a lot of existing subdivisions. You also requested a change that the accessory dwelling unit be limited to 50% of the square footage of the primary dwelling up to a maximum of 1,000 square feet of conditioned floor area. So the revised ordinance before you tonight for public hearing has those changes incorporated into it. The planning commission held a public hearing at their meeting in October, and they recommended approval of the ordinance to the board. Any questions?
Excuse me. All right. Anybody got any questions? Good, Joseph. All right, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this text amendment on ADUs, accessory dwelling units, please come up and state your name and address. Got 3 minutes. Try to keep it to 3 minutes. All right, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the board's pleasure?
Go ahead.
Everybody sleep?
I make a motion that we approve it as presented.
Okay, motion on the floor to approve the text amendment ordinance on ADUs. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, same thing again on a tourist home.
Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Currently, a tourist home is only allowed by right in the R2 and B1 districts. So your September meeting directed staff to draft an ordinance to allow tourist homes by right in the A5, RP5, and RR3 zoning districts, and with a special exception in the R1 zoning district within the sanitary district. So this ordinance adds the uses in those districts, and then it also adds the existing definition of a sanitary district that's found in other chapters of the zoning code to the zoning ordinance for simplification. And the planning commission held a public hearing at their meeting in October and also recommended this ordinance for approval.
Okay. Any questions? I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the ordinance text amendment on tourist homes, please come up and state your name and address. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the board's pleasure?
I have a question.
Okay.
Calling it a tourist home, is that the same as a bed and breakfast?
We'll get that answered.
I would have to, I'm not sure if we define a bed and breakfast in the code. This would not be the same as a hotel or boarding house based on the definition, but I believe you can make an argument a bed and breakfast would fit under this use, so.
Up to 14 people,
Up to 14.
Say what?
Yeah.
up to 14 people.
And then after that, what is it considered?
It could be a
Motel.
hotel at that point.
A motel? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and that would require a business zone.
So we have somebody rents, I got one I'm thinking about, rents a certain facility that they call this. They invite all their family down to stay at that facility for the wedding, and they're over 14 people. And that happens quite often.
Yeah, if they're family, then that would not.
Well, friends and family. Let me reword that.
Okay.
Friends and family. I know of one that does it all the time here in the county.
Yeah, this is a business, so this is.
Well, this is a business, is what he's talking about. It's not the family that owns a house that is staying in the house.
Yep. So that would exceed this definition of a tourist home, which is.
We need to look into this a little bit.
Well, I think you're talking about two different things.
They charge them to stay there, Dexter?
Oh, yeah, they're paying to have the wedding there. So somebody's paying for the use of the property.
That should fall in this.
Free.
There are other uses, I think like a recreation resort kind of thing that would exceed this, that things like that may end up being. Those require special exceptions, I believe, but this is specific to someone renting out a single house, Airbnb kind of thing is what this use is talking.
I just like to keep it simple.
I think we're talking about two different things. I think, if I remember, this is kind of aimed toward a short-term rental.
Yeah.
You know, if you had a contractor here working on a project.
Yeah.
They only needed 2 weeks.
I know what them is too.
What you're talking about, if they're doing it, that may even be a zoning violation. I don't know, we'd have to look into that.
Well, it has to be clear, I mean.
I think it's two different things.
Yeah, but if it's, even for what you're saying, it still is not clear enough for that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Like I said, keep it simple. It's is or not.
Tourist home and venues. Would that cover?
well, if it's for Airbnb or something like that, then it should include Airbnb. Mr. Gore?
Yeah, it sounds like we need to revisit all the definitions. My guess is you don't see we're not looking at all the definitions in your code right now. There's definitions for other uses that we're touching on. So it might not be an issue whatsoever because I know staff's looked at all that, but I wouldn't be in any rush to adopt this tonight.
Yeah.
You've had the public hearing. We won't have to have another public hearing unless you significantly change this. So I would, my recommendation would be let's take a beat and look at all the definitions and make sure we're covering what you want to cover.
So let's sit till next month.
Okay. Do you hear all that, Joseph?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's not clear enough. Maybe we could have maybe it'd be helpful maybe to have a presentation to us about what the intent is, et cetera.
Okay. All right. Brings us to the emergency squad and fire department tax exemption. This was, we kind of talked about it last month. Got got it in front of you. Any questions before I open the public hearing?
Well, it would save some time and money by people not having to work on filling out the paperwork and printing all that and it just makes it more simple because we're giving it back to them exempt. That way, there's somebody that we won't have to pay for doing all that somewhere down the line.
Yep. All right, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this, please come up, state your name and address. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. What's the board's
I'll move to adopt the ordinance as presented.
motion on the floor to adopt the motion? Emergency squad and fire department tax exemption. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. New business. We had the November work session. Mr. Pollard, do you want to talk about that?
Sure, I'm glad to. So in the board book, there's a summary of what was presented. Outlines a plan going forward for better utilizing our space and kind of our future space needs that we have for not just office space, but also storage of our equipment as far as public safety equipment and other equipment that's needed for routine maintenance. Pretty much summarize what was in the presentation. There's no action on this.
Okay. I think it was useful. All right. Any board members have any questions, comments?
We're gonna be doing this every other month, right?
Yeah, there's one scheduled, should be, we'll talk about one next month for
Okay.
January, I guess. You good? You looking at me like you mad at me. All right, it brings us to a rezoning request.
Again, Mr. Chairman. This is a rezoning request from RP5 to R5 for 10 acres of property on Mill Quarter Road. There was a 4-acre piece that was split from a tax map parcel and added to a tax map parcel across the road back in 2019. This request is to rezone that 4 acres and an additional 6 acres of an adjoining tax map parcel. With that rezoned portion, 1 acre would be added to the 4-acre existing area to have a 5-acre area that would remain part of the tax map parcel across the road, but have the option to become a standalone 5-acre tax map parcel in the future. And a 5-acre parcel would be created around an existing dwelling, would become part of the new tax map parcel.
Okay.
So at the switch, go through all these. There we go. There's the plat showing the acreage to be rezoned. That's the 6 acres, and this next plat is the existing 4-acre piece. The Planning Commission held a public hearing. They recommended approval of the request. Staff would also recommend approval due to only 10 acres being rezoned. Therefore, the maximum number of parcels that could be created is 2, which is what's being proposed. And the uses of the R5 district are very similar to those in the RP5 zoning district. So for those reasons, staff would recommend approval, and the board Planning Commission also recommended approval to the board at their meeting in October. Any questions?
Anybody got any questions? Todd, this is your district. You get your questions answered. You good?
I'm golden.
All right.
We're cleaning up some stuff, basically.
I have one.
Okay.
More than I know. It's the wording, subdivision. They just division. I mean, that can cause some confusion from people that are living around there saying, we got subdivision coming.
Oh, I got calls on that.
You don't have a subdivision coming because it says subdivision, but it's not.
Yeah,
in the sense that people think.
Yeah, by our definition, anything that is not a single cut subdivision is technically a subdivision. In this case, since it was already, this 4-acre cut came off of that piece, it's technically a subdivision of one lot. I guess you could consider it that way.
Well, you know,
That's
we
the reason for the
understand
reason.
it's the general public.
Yeah. The bottom line is you can only have 2 parcels there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll open the public hearing on this zoning request. Anybody wishing to speak for or against it, please come up, state your name and address. Good evening, sir.
Troublemakers.
My name's Clifford Dye, 1921 Milcoy Road, Ford, Virginia, still Lower Amelia. I just wanted to add a couple of things. First of all, that the entire farm, 95 acres, so has been in the Ellington family for 7 generations and has never been touched. The Ellington family built a brick home on that property, which we're talking about subdividing with or dividing off the 5 acres. I just like to point that nothing is going to change, absolutely nothing. Nothing's being added or taken away. It's just a matter of formality of allowing that home to be sold with the 5 acres since Mr. Ellington passed away in 2022. And appreciate you all's consideration.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? All right, I'll close the public hearing. What's the board's pleasure?
I recommend approval.
All right.
You move for approval.
I mean, I moved for approval. I'm sorry. I was multitasking and you know I can't do that. Somebody was texting me. Somebody was texting me. Get me in trouble, dude. Stop.
That's definitely.
I can only do one thing at a time.
No texting and driving, meeting at the same time. All right, motion on the floor to make this approval of this rezoning request. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, Eric, I'm tired of talking.
I'm gonna text you now while you're in the middle of stuff. Watch this. I'm gonna burn you up.
I'll keep it on silent.
Mine was on silent.
All right, so last month's meeting, I mentioned that we advertised for the animal shelter project. We received over 10 bids, and the list of responses is should be in y'all's packet or available online. And so we have a low bidder that I've talked with Jeff about this, that we would like to begin post a issue of an intent to award and then get a contract with them subject to legal review.
Okay, is that a motion item or is that a direction?
Yes, I'd like a motion on that.
All right. What's the board think? You kind of at that point, it's time
His district.
to move on.
Oh, he's gone. Does it have to be any specific words or?
I think they've provided
Put
it.
it in binder.
What'd you say, Joseph?
I said they provided it. Do we do it?
I'll do it. It's right here. It's written.
I
very
just got it
clearly.
back. He's had it the whole meeting. I moved that the Meade County Board of Supervisors issue an intent to award the Meade County Animal Shelter Construction Contract to Haley Builders, Inc. in the amount of 1.849 million, subject to legal counsel. Is that right?
That's right. Motion on the floor to proceed. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. I think we could get us one of them spray painted golden shovels and we all go there and do a groundbreaking when we get ready. to
You
go.
can just get you one and go on.
No, I'll get 5 shovels.
Yes, sir.
I'll spray paint them. I'll spray paint them.
I'll bring a backhoe.
We putting in 5?
Digging no hole.
I ain't had a shovel fit my hand in a long time.
I've seen Daryl have some in his shop down the road from us.
All right, well, moving on. You got anything else?
That's it.
All right.
On that item.
Anybody else got anything? Before I get into the closing stuff? Joseph, you good?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, I'll go first tonight. Had the jail board meeting. We had 60 residents there last month. People are acting up. What in the world going on?
Weather change.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
All right. I'd also like to congratulate Todd and Dexter on their win, coming back to join us for more misery, 4 more years. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Go ahead.
All right, let's see. Colonel kind of covered the historical meeting, listened on the phone today. Philip kind of covered the landfill. I will kind of add as far as the landfill that we were looking to do some more tracking, trying to get a weather station. And if people can smell it at certain times, we're trying to keep up with times and dates and all that, so email him and he'll document it. And if you're gonna say you smelled it this morning, email the state, I smelled it at 5 o'clock in the morning. So we're just trying to track the weather patterns a little bit better. It is getting cooler, the air is getting heavier, so the smell probably will be a little more active this time of year. I know that people are very irritated, but at the same time, I know that the landfill has been trying some stuff that we've suggested, and we're working on it. Let's see. Attended the Emergency Services Committee. You can help me out with this. We had a guest talk about the Vanguard renewables and we're going to handle that with the emergency services. So that was a pretty good presentation. I think they hope to be up and running by the end of the year. Want to thank everybody for coming out to my town hall. I thought it was a big success. The commissioner was there, Kent was there, Keith was there, Royce was there, and Eric was there. Thank y'all for coming. I knew Wes was going to try to represent the school, but he came down with kidney stones, so I hope he's doing better. He was in the ER when I talked to him, and Stephanie was sick. So I plan on doing another one in the spring. And I've noticed that Christmas lights are up, so that means Thanksgiving is near. So happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, Halloween.
Merry Thanksgiving.
Merry Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they walked by Labor Day.
You good?
I think I'm done. Yes.
Dex.
Well, I don't know where to start, but first of all, I want to thank the people who have enough confidence in me to represent them for 4 more years on this board. I appreciate the votes and that I serve everyone, whether you voted for me or not, equally. And I serve the people of Amelia, not just my district. At a PSR meeting, and I think I'll let Todd comment on that more than I did, because it was a very interesting meeting last night for 4 hours. Verify that, please, Mr. Robertson, so my wife won't think I was doing something else.
Yeah, he won't messing around. Hey, my wife was stalking me on the find your phone.
Mine's calling me. Where are you at?
Yes.
Blankety blank me. Are you still in Farmville? And had a CRC meeting this morning. And I'm pretty sure that we are in the front running of I think it's $20,000 grant for the historical section of the courthouse square up here. We're number 1 and Cambridge is number 2 on the list out of 15 localities in our district of little towns and villages. I had a conversation with actually with both our delegates, our former delegate and Mr. Ware. And he called me yesterday and we talked about a few things, which hopefully we'll be able to discuss in the future. But the one I had the most conversation with was Mr. Wright, who was our former delegate. Now we've been redistricting. And he was telling me about the General Assembly and some of the things we need to be looking at for this coming year and years. And folks, it's scary. Some of the things that they're proposing, our Second Amendment, They're going after our guns, certain ones. Solar, we'll have no control over solar. If they get their way, which good possibility. And we mentioned a while ago about wood stoves, kerosene stoves, propane and all. They want that done away with. They don't care. They want it done away with. This new green energy. And that he told me that they are forcing Dominion to go green energy. In their words, that Dominion says they don't have enough to supply the state. So they have to buy outside the state. Yet what they're buying from outside the state is fossil fuel energy. The folks in Richmond said, that's fine, but we can't do fossil fuel energy. That don't make sense. Of course, when it comes to them type of government, most of them don't have no common sense anyway, what we have to go through that here. And that's all I got to say.
All right. Joseph, what you got?
I just want to thank Eric and staff. I think we're making a lot of progress here, particularly when you look at everything tonight with updating ordinance. Really excited about that. Also excited about the animal shelter moving forward and coming in under our expected bid and budgeted amount. So I think we're seeing some great progress and excited about the future in Amelia.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the staff.
We did good.
Mr. Robinson.
I appreciate the citizens of District 5 putting me back into this position for 4 more years. Like I said before, if you think I'm doing something wrong, don't hesitate, call, email. We went to the VACO annual meeting, and Mr. Jones is correct on a lot of the energy that they're gonna be pushing down our throat that's coming. The northern counties are dictating what's happening for the rest of the state. And I fear we will have some trouble coming down the road. It doesn't matter really what side you're on, but they're in control. We had a PSR meeting last night again. Was that the 4th one since the end of October? We have some issues, and it was pretty embarrassing, the outcome of what was happening there, but we're limited on what we can talk about right now, but it'll all come out in the wash in the near future. And if you're traveling, have a safe Thanksgiving. Spend time with your family. That's about all I got.
All right. What I'm looking for.
Just did.
A little bit louder.
Oh, I moved to adjourn.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Any discussion? Raise your hand. We're done.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Thank you, Joseph.
Don't you bolt. Nah, I don't care. You're on my dime now, buddy.
Emo guy. I actually